being here tonight for this budget workshop, work session, whatever you want to call it. Purpose of discussing the budget for the fiscal year 2016-2017, which was provided to us last week, was presented to us during our last regular council meeting. Again, thank you for being here. If everyone would please rise for our invocation and place the flag. Let's pray. Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you for this day and for all that you've done for us. We thank you for this opportunity to gather here to consider city business. We pray that you would have your hand upon us, guide us and direct us in everything that is thought, everything that is said, everything that is done. That it would be to continue to build this city up, and that it would be to bring honor and glory to you. We pray in Jesus' name. Amen. Proper salute.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Again, if we have the roll call, please.
Mayor Lamb.
Here.
Councilmember Cagle.
Here.
Councilmember Manning.
Here.
Councilmember Sewell. City Manager Miller.
Here.
City Attorney Doyle.
Nicole Osborne,
Right, I know Larry is out of town, and I believe Mark is, I think the governor is visiting, and so Mark is with the governor. And then we're pleased to have Nicole with us tonight, standing in for Hal. And it's not listed on the agenda, but I would like to, I believe it is a charter requirement for called meetings if we have an opportunity for citizen communication. If any resident of the city of East Ridge or business owner here in the city has a comment, question, or concern you'd like to bring to the council in regard to the budget, this would be your opportunity to do so. You'll come to one of the two microphones here at the front, state your name and address for the record. You'll have 5 minutes. Yes, sir.
Kathy Blocker, 706 Byron Lane. I'm just coming because I'm pleased that the firefighters are getting the people they need and the equipment they need. And I'm glad to see 3 additional people in traffic for the cops, especially with Bass Pro and development. We're going to need extra police officers. But I'm disappointed that we don't have anyone we don't have any sort of drug task force, and we still don't have enough people, I think, in criminal investigations. If you're robbed, right, or a crime is committed against you on the weekend, you're quite often told in the city of East Ridge that there's no detective because we take the weekends off, but crime doesn't. And I would think that property crime being the biggest crime issue that we have, and the largest thing according to the Tennessee TBI sheet, that it's important. And I know that there's only so much time you have to begin investigating those things before cases go cold. So, I mean, maybe the chief feels like he's got enough people and got enough stuff and he doesn't need it, but I think as a citizen, the perspective is that we do need more help when it comes to working and solving property crime specifically on the weekends and all the time for that matter. You know, there just seems like there's a lot of it. I know our crime rate is not as bad as Chattanooga is, but if you look at other cities our size in the state, it is kind of high. There's a few lower ones, there's a few higher ones. But, you know, it just seems to me like the citizens aren't being served as well as they can. And if there is a surplus, and I know there's tons of stuff to pay for. You know, we have a mysterious sewer problem that nobody knows what's gonna happen with. We got a road that who knows how far it's gonna be over budget. But the city exists to serve the citizens. You know, safety, sanitation, fire protection, and I think making sure that they're safe and their crimes are being investigated is very important. And I'd like to see the council can put more money towards that to get some extra help in that area. I think it'd be very beneficial, because I think with what's been going on recently, all the citizens feel like there is an increase in crime lately, and they'd like to see that negated. And then the other thing is, you know, patrols. I understand writing tickets is important, and that's how we catch a lot of criminals. And being visible on Ringgold Road is important. But I just feel like if we can go into a contract with the city of Ridgeside to patrol their roads 3 times a day, why can't our own citizens get the same level of service, right? I mean, I just feel like if we can gear that to another city, can we at least get it ourselves? I mean, I know not every street needs 3 times a day, but I'm sure there's plenty of streets that get 0, you know? That's all. That's my only worry. Thank you.
Thank you. I think council, I don't necessarily mean to speak for the council and staff, but I think we all agree that certainly public safety is right at the top of the list as far as our priorities. We do have a couple of new positions in police that have been proposed in this budget, 3 in fire. So certainly we do take it very seriously. And you know, one of the problems that we have in East Ridge, I think we've talked about it a little bit before. It's our location is really difficult because we have 2 interstates. We're right on the state line. All of those things aggravate criminal activity. I think the incident that occurred the other day with the Cascades Motel, we chased that person into Chattanooga, basically. And it's relatively easy for people that come in from other communities or even other states, such as Georgia, do something bad and hightail it and try to get back to wherever they came from. You know, it's kind of interesting. You look at some of the things that go on when suspects are caught. They're usually pretend not to be East Ridge people. You know, they're from other places. They kind of swoop in, do something, and try to take off. So yeah, we have some unique challenges, I guess, in East Ridge. But certainly we do share your concern, and public safety is certainly one of our highest priorities.
One thing back there, we can't do like a lot of people, we can't build a wall.
I'm not touching them, dude.
If I may, Mayor, just to give a little clarification.
Yes, sir.
We're in the process right now of hiring 2 new police officers that will come on board. They still have to go through academy and FTO before we're allowed to put them out there all by themselves. And of the 2 that we're looking in this budget, we've got one of those that we slated for patrol, and the other one in the CID, possibly in the CID here, to boost up our criminal investigative division. That's a start. So when you really look at that, we're going to be putting on 3 new officers for patrol, at least 3, and then 1 in the CID.
Right. We have anyone else? All right. Just real quick.
I've got something, but I'll wait.
Okay, we can, of course, we'll have opportunity to discuss the
I'll
budget.
bring it anyway.
It's fine, we can. Jackie, do you have anything before we get into the
Well,
budget?
just to rely on, comment on Mr. DeGrapper there. The biggest thing that I hear complaints about is we don't have a drug force. Not really a criminal investigation to go out and investigate the break-in and stuff. It's a drug enforcement people. So I think we've actually got one that goes out and does investigations of drugs, but it's not full time. So that's the biggest complaint I hear about the things out here. It's not catching the bad guys that rob the banks up here. It's about catching the dopeheads in our neighborhoods.
Yeah, there are two areas or specialties in the police force. Every police department, you've got to have patrol, and you've got to have criminal investigation. Those are two responsibilities that we have to provide our community. Branch off divisions would be a traffic unit, and that's something that the chief and I have talked about, and we are going to hopeful that we'll be able to start boosting that. There are a lot of state grants out there that will pay for salaries and pay for vehicles and so forth. We're going to be exploring that. And then as far as the drug task force, certainly agree with you on that. That's something that the chief and I have had discussions with to add those two actually specialties within the department, drug task force and a traffic unit.
And you mentioned the traffic department. I know for the last 2 years in his budget, he has spent zero actually out of his traffic department. He's had $2 million or $3 million in it. And he actually spent nothing out of it. I suppose he turned that money back in.
Yeah, actually that money was taken out of traffic unit, we put it into the patrol area.
So
But
money
we are
was
going,
there for the traffic department, but he didn't spend it. And already there for the employees and didn't hire them.
we're hiring two right now.
Okay, but I'm talking about for the last 2 years.
Correct, yeah.
Okay.
All right. We will get into a discussion of the budget. Obviously, anything that we talk about or ask about tonight, we're somewhat limited in what we can do. We can request information, we can suggest things. Not sure we could really add or subtract things from the budget tonight. It has been a called meeting, but
You can
I think it would be wise not to do that because we have two members not here.
Can we call them, tell them what we're doing?
You can make suggestions and I can add them on a sheet, and then when it comes back for a first reading of the ordinance, then you can incorporate that in the first reading so that we keep everything above board.
That would be great. All right, so we'll just dive right in.
Can I add what I want to add?
Sure.
What I want to do, I forgot the other day to bring this up. Our city manager about it. There's a Christmas bonus, full-time, $250, full-time, $250, full-time, $125, part-time. Like that, that's our budget.
How much part-time?
125. Full-time, 250. They go on the insurance, they lost a lot of money on the insurance.
That cost for the city's edification would be $35,625 addition to the budget. $35,625. That is based on utilizing that figure that was proposed by Councilman Manning times the full-time and part-time employees you have designated on your personnel sheets.
Then you put that full motion there or not?
Well, I think that would probably be one of those things that
I'll
that we could
add
put
this on
together.
the list.
Okay. That's fine.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't we last year give the reserves, volunteers, a bonus? I mean, I was thinking we did.
Did we?
It wasn't much.
Do you know how much it was?
We gave it 125.
125, okay. Well, I didn't add those in there,
Yeah,
so.
yeah, I know.
Okay. That's something that's kind of, we want to do.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Reserves.
Reserve, all,
How many reserves do we have?
all full-time.
Hey.
Part-time.
There's about 15 is part of that.
Eight,
Always got a,
How many you got, Mike?
15 in fire and 8 in police.
Mr. Martin, how many you got? Part-time.
oh, you don't have any reserves.
I don't have any reserves.
too. Two ladies in good standing.
They're in part-time.
They're part-time, they're in there.
They're on.
Yeah, the school crossing guards.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Okay, do we have any specific questions about anything that's in the budget?
Yes,
Anything
sir.
you would like to? Okay.
I know that we discussed it as a whole here one night after the election on the wine. And we were going to create, or, because I noticed we've got a business permit here to sell beer. And we were going to create a permit license to sell wine. So, that conversation died. So do we need to, wine is
We're collecting, we collected our first check today.
okay,
I think it
so
was-
we are collecting taxes.
What was it?
$18.20.
Okay.
It's a
That's
start.
the wholesale-
It's a start.
It's the wholesale liquor tax.
It didn't show up in revenue.
It's going in
Because we don't have a
revenue.
line item for it.
The problem, we talked about the line item, putting that for wine sales tax, but we really didn't, when you put something, when you add something in, the budget's gotta have an appropriated number. And what kind of appropriated number, because there's no history on this. So I don't want to leave a zero, but once we have a year's history, we'll know what that figure is. I don't want to play a guessing game and think it's $5,000, and then I don't want to turn around and put in $50,000, because I don't really know how much we're going to derive on that. So when the money coming in, we'll know at the end of this fiscal year how much our revenue stream on that wine sales tax is coming in, be able to budget for that next year. Any kind of revenue coming in, we can either mark that under miscellaneous.
But do they need a permit license hanging on their wall compared to
Do we-
Food Line and Food City?
I'm sorry. We don't give permits for wine or liquor. We give beer permits. The alcohol beverage commission does the permits for wine.
So we get our money directly from the state that comes in on the wine sales tax.
Correct.
Okay.
Do we have any other questions?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
You find it.
I would like to make, one comment, Mayor, if you don't mind.
Sure.
I want to say, we appreciate all the ladies and the city manager and everybody that worked on these budgets. I'm confident on them. They've done a real good job at it. We appreciate it.
Has all the building maintenance, building repair and maintenance been put into the building maintenance?
Yes, sir.
Because I noticed some of it's doing 1,000, 5,000, and then I see the building maintenance at 100,000.
Yeah, the 100,000, that pretty much is outlined on page 6 as what we're proposing to do. With $100,000, we increased that 59,000, but we've got a lot of projects to get involved with, some roofs on some public works buildings and the public safety building, the AC units, to get those raised. But eventually we want to put all that into the building.
Yeah, I noticed sanitation, that you had $1,000 for building repair maintenance.
Sanitation is an
But
inter.
if that roof is, it'll probably cost more than 1,000, let's do it.
That's true. I can't use general operating fund on the sanitation. Sanitation is an enterprise fund, it's a standalone fund.
I'd say,
Yes, so we have to appropriate dollars in there. It may not be enough. Matter of fact,
I don't think it will be, because that's a pretty good building down there. We're just talking about the office building, two-story building, correct?
yeah.
And also over here in the police department, I mean, not the police, the fire department. I noticed it says first payment on fire truck, $100,000. Will we pay for that fire truck when we got it in?
This is being set up as self-financing, like we've done police cars, because we paid for the fire truck out of the capital improvement fund, and and it was set up to pay back the capital projects fund, to build that back up.
Right.
So we're self-financed, we're paying ourselves back.
Yeah,
Okay. So then the Tahoes are gonna be paid off this.
Yes, sir.
that's to make sure that the respective departments are paying for the vehicles that they acquire, and that we don't deplete the capital improvement fund on vehicles.
And, I'm over here in the, traffic control department now. And I noticed over here in the state street, where we've got a contract budgeted for repairs of our street lights, our traffic lights. Okay, and then he has still got a, coming out of his budget for signal repairs and maintenance, so can all of that come out of state street aid fund too, those line items there?
What pages are you?
I'm on page 19. Okay. We've got contract services, 0, signal repairs at 4,500, and equipment repairs and maintenance is 10,000.
You could take a lot out of the state street and fund. It was my understanding in my discussions with Diane that we wanted to
Well, I
offset.
said that was one line item in there, it already said for the signals up there,
Yeah.
so, and the majority of this that I just named for the signals, so.
Right. Well, I guess what I was saying is I didn't think the council wants to start depleting the state aid on various organizational programs. The more money we have here, the more we can spend on street resurfacing and roads. Is your question taking the 11,000 under the street aid and taking that out of general operating fund?
No, I just asked if we could, if we, because I know we,
We had the revenue stream coming in and an additional 11,000, we could do that. Take it out of the state street aid and have it be paid out of the,
well, we
Traffic-
just got
traffic.
two line items, we just got two line items for signal repair. We got one state street aid.
Yep, we
and
do.
We got one in the traffic control
We do.
department, so.
if it's,
I
yeah,
thought
that's,
that put it together.
yeah, if we put them together, probably put them together in traffic control and general operating fund, would be 11,000 to know the streets. We can look at that, yes.
I'm very pleased that we've taken the positions that we had been paying with street aid, we've taken those out and put them in a place where they're not being paid out of state street aid, so we can devote more of that.
We
those
need to
dollars. Yeah, I'm very, very pleased to see that.
Well, I think we're gonna make a more concerted effort next year when I become a lot more familiar with this budget document to do that, because street resurfacing is something that needs to be increased every year. What we resurfaced for $1 million 5 years ago certainly is a lot less than you can do today. And it's-
7,000.
Exactly. It depends on what the gas prices are going at and so forth, but it is something that continuously increases. And that's one thing that we don't want to get behind on our street resurfacing program. Once you get behind on that, it's almost impossible to get caught.
And I don't know what the figure would be today, but I know 4 or 5 years ago, we talked about it costing, I think, $88,000 per mile to repave or something. So I don't know what I guess the industry figure is now, but I'm sure it's much higher than that now.
All right, and, on page 26, Monroe Street Park, can we just eliminate that out? That's it, belongs to Walmart now?
It will go away next year.
because it still had, it had expenditures in 14, and that's the only reason it's there. So next year it'll be gone.
Okay, yes.
And, got one other thing that I'd like for you to look at. I noticed the phone bill and cell phone bill is kind of high in your department.
Mhm.
It might be, look at reducing the number of cell phones out, or the number of office phones out, or something. You know, I don't know if everybody in their department.
Are we working on that now?
Yes, sir, now we're working on it.
I'm working on that now.
Because I noticed it's kind of high in your department.
Any other questions?
I don't have.
I don't think,
Okay. And just a couple of things real quick. This really doesn't impact the budget at all, but the History Center has a budget in here. I would love to see us, and we've talked about this before, would love to see us more actively recruit some volunteers who will go in and, you know, if it's just open, 2 days a week or even 1 day a week, all day, so people can actually go in and make use of that facility. It's a really nice little space, and it's really neat to be able to trace the community's history, but
Did we discuss that here a while back with Ms. Miller about a community volunteer program? Maybe we could do that.
she is working on that program. I mean, I haven't heard anything real recently, but that would be wonderful
I heard,
if that program can kind of fill the gap there.
I'd heard on our news demo where some of the pictures and stuff, it's in the DOD, does anybody ever check that out?
I don't know anything about that. I haven't heard
Somebody
that.
asked me a few weeks ago that, and I said, I don't know. I just said, I know we put a special system in there to take care of all of it.
Mhm.
How long have it been since, Ms. Miller, you know how long it's been since anybody checked?
That I don't know. Once the History Center closed and City Services was no longer, it fell under the library. So I'm not sure how often anymore. I think Gail was going over there for a little while. So that, but you're correct, there is a special system in there, a special HVAC system for air purification and stuff in there. And that was built when we did the building back, I think, 2006, 2007. So, but to update you all on the volunteer initiative, I'm hoping to, once school starts back up here in a few weeks, probably about a month or so, I wanted to wait until the teachers were back into classes, because that's some place that we can pull some of the good information from on what their needs are as far as their students. And I've had several people here in the community that are wanting to help too. So, and I'd love for you all to be a part of that as well, because you all know some of the needs that you've heard from the citizens and business owners. So right now, I think grants are starting to calm down just a little bit before they start ramping back up in the fall, once the October 1st fiscal year starts. So we'll have just a little bit of time in between to start getting that together. But I hope to, sometime next month, to have a meeting to start getting some of the different organizations coordinated. And I'll update you all when we have that meeting.
Thank you very much.
One more time.
Yes, sir.
Can we have somebody check that system, to make sure stuff people dominate, everybody ain't getting run?
Sure, yeah, if we could just have someone go over and check. It's been a little while since I've been over there myself. Yes,
I
ma'am.
was over there last week, let someone in, there's no problems
That's
over
good.
there.
So I was also in there last, I was in there this week and I didn't see anything.
Okay, all right.
I guess I answered your question.
That's good. That's good. The only other thing I had was, pertains to salaries. I know we had the Temple group come in. It's been, well, I think the pay scales that we're working with now are pretty old. And I think they came in and did a revised version 2 or 3 years ago.
2013.
2013, and we never adopted those officially. I would like to look at those if we could, and obviously that's going to provide some impact on numbers if we were to move forward with that. But if we could look back at that, I hate that basically we got them and never did anything with them. It's been a while since I've actually seen that document, but
Yeah,
it's floating around somewhere.
I haven't. I looked at it. I have some serious reservations about how it was done.
Okay.
I have some serious reservations on the numbers that were put in there. It's tough to do a pay study when you don't have documented and approved job descriptions, because every job description basically determines what the level of responsibility, management degrees are, and experience. I don't think those were really looked at. We've got some positions that are the higher ranking with a starting pay on an entry-level clerk position, which is, to me, unheard of. But I've talked to the HR director on that. It's good, or manager, and it needs to work. That's something that we are now working with the department directors to get all the job descriptions updated and signed off by the directors and the employees. So we've got them right. Once those are completed, then we can basically look at the rationale of where to place them within the categories that have been established. I'm not saying it's got a skeleton that we can follow, but as presented, to me, it doesn't make sense.
Okay.
But that is something that we are going to be working on in my office and HR to come up with viable. We do not have to, don't believe we need to go out and do another study. Certainly we can utilize what was done and make it more fitable or suitable for our organization. I hope that answers your question.
It does. I just, I want to make sure, I think the council, disagree with me, correct me if I'm wrong, disagree with me if you want to. I think, we're interested in being as fair as we can be to our employees.
Right.
And if they're doing their job and have had responsibilities added to them, then they need to be compensated for it. I'm not sure if we've done a great job of keeping up with that.
No, and if you're going to implement a pay, study and a pay classification plan, you don't want to do parts of it. You want to do the whole complete thing so that you're fair and equitable to the whole organization.
Right.
Nothing kills morale more than doing it for some positions and not doing it for others. So that's one thing I want to do, be fair with everybody, to take a look at the whole thing comprehensively as it fits in the organization. And then we can implement it. So that those that are taking on additional responsibilities will be paid commensurate with that. I know the month and a half I've been here, I've been hit up with probably 8 to 10 employees that have informed me that they were promised raises. I can't find anything on that. And neither, there's been no justification made for that. And I just don't think it's fair and equitable to the organization to kind of look at, well, this person's going to get it, this person will not. So it's got to be fair for everybody across the board. That's kind of how I look at it.
No, I would agree with that. I would agree with that. And I think, the end game is to make sure that, again, everyone's being treated fairly and our are making the salary that they deserve to make based on the job they're performing.
Right. We also need to look at, I can basically say that in looking at the salary schedule and looking at what employees make, it's just my preliminary assessment where I think that you've got the entry-level positions and some of the department management staff that are underpaid, but your middle seem to be a little bit on the line. That's just an assessment I made in looking at it. So we've got to look at within our organization, as well as the salaries that our competitive or neighboring joining communities are. Because if you don't keep up with them, we're going to lose them. And I don't want that to happen either.
Agreed. Agreed. Do we have anything else?
I don't.
Yes, sir. Please.
Okay, one item that was brought to my attention after the budget was developed was we are going to need a replacement refuse vehicle, rear end loader. We've got 4 of them right now picking up in the residential area. This has not been a very good week for us. Matter of fact, 2 days ago, I think we only had 1 truck running. We usually have 3. So today, we finished just about 5 after 5. I think it was yesterday. We completed a route, it was after 6 because I saw the guys going back when I was heading home. We're heading to dinner. So one of these new trucks is going to cost in the neighborhood of $198,900. So I guess it's the one truck we're looking at replacing. It's truck number 25, which is a 2010 International Automated truck. Am I correct on that? This past year, we spent close to $30,000 in repairs on it. And that's before the truck went down again this week, is it not? So, twice. So, we're throwing an awful lot of money into these trucks to keep them on the street. And we need to replace one of them as soon as we can. As I mentioned in my budget message, that one of the projects that my office will be working on is looking at a replacement schedule for all city vehicles so that we know what's ahead 1, 2, 3, up to 5 years down the line. So we can almost look at what is called a levelized spending plan instead of 1 year buying a lot of vehicles and going out on notes, and the following year you buy a minimum amount. We know what that average cost is going to be. We can levelize that out and have the vehicles replaced on an annual basis following the schedule. So that's the one thing that's left out of this budget. It comes out of refuse collection. Let me pull up if you allow me.
You said rear loader for that?
Yes, sir.
Is that 20 yard?
20 or 25?
It's an automated truck.
Oh, it's the automated one?
Automated.
I'm sorry.
It's, I think they're 22 yards.
22 cubic yards? We have, our ending year fund balance for the end of June 30th of 2016 is a neighborhood of over $500,000. So we certainly have dollars to pay for that out of there, or we could borrow the money through the Tennessee municipal bond fund, and just doing some. If we went through the truck dealership, we'd be paying interest over 5 years, totaling $20,050. If we went through the Tennessee municipal bond fund, the one that we just bought, we paid about $7,700 in interest over 5 years. So I think
You
that's.
say we've got money to pay, just go ahead and buy it outright.
We do have that now. Yes,
Well,
we do have that now.
I know we was at conference. I was talking to the gentleman, Lee Smith,
That's right.
and he has a rear loader down there that's a 25-yarder that's brand new, that they're wanting to get rid of. So we could,
Could that be converted? Or is that something that would work?
Well, we don't have the manpower, we cut down the manpower.
No, I'm talking about a replacement.
We put 2 men on the back, but we got one, does it now. And TML, they don't like rear load trucks, because of accidents, just
Liability.
liability. I mean, they don't say no, but they don't, they rarely have all men.
I've been running those trucks for 2 decades with the guys on the back. I understand what it's taken under advisement. I understand what they're saying, but it is effective.
If we feel like buying is preferable to leasing, I'm not making an argument either way. But if we feel that's the way to go, I would just assume use the money that we have built up in that fund. That's my opinion.
I feel the same.
I'd rather think we would.
Okay.
Can you get them to give it to us?
Has to be put out for bid.
Not if they give it to us for $1. But you said they won't give it up, we'll take it.
Year-old truck that's had its stock.
If I can send you in the mayor boat, then I'm letting one of y'all get it right back.
Well, do we have anything else?
I have nothing else.
Okay, with that, I think we'll adjourn this meeting. And of course, we have our agenda work session and regular council meeting next week, next Thursday. And I don't know if there's anything between now and then. Is there anything going on?
Now, is this ready to go before the council on first reading?
I believe it is. If we can have the things we've talked about tonight placed on a sheet, if we can plug those in, and that's going to be some kind of work on the fly there for Diane. I would say we've got 3 people here who said let's go ahead and buy the truck. So I think.
Well, I would just put the truck in here and then come back to the commission to get your authorization to bid it.
Right, and I think starting with it in there, if something happens and opinions change, we can pull it out, but I don't know that they're going to change.
Well, if the opinion changed, we'll let their garbage sit in their back door.
Yeah, maybe at our back door.
Yeah. I thought about the opinions that change.
Make sure they're on the list, right?
And one thing I like to say, when somebody gets time to do it, we've had some people over at the community center, in basketball goal. I've got a brand new in my backyard, I donated this week, and all the guys come get it. But my grandson shot it maybe once or twice. And Shirley loves it, come here, she started cutting it. But they can get it, bring it over here, it's a community center. A lot of times they don't play ball outside, but inside. So that's safe some energy, they'll be outside, we'll cut the lights off inside. But it's there at the house, somebody come and gets it. Now I'm donating to the city of Richmond.
Well, thank you very much.
You gonna pick it up?
I said, but they got people.
Yeah, they gotta pick it up themselves. And it'll take 2 men, they can't bring a wimp, they better bring somebody with muscle.
All right. Well, thank you all for being here tonight. We will see you next Thursday.